Before, chums, that politics is a brutal game, you know. I reported it on a regular basis, and what you see behind the scenes, while it might be all smiles, it makes show business look, friendly. There we have currently the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, literally clinging on by her acrylic nails, knowing that she's going to be forfeited if Keir Starmer's popularity plummets anymore. And boy, is it plummeting. But it's really the way the media manipulate the situation, you know what I'm saying? And when you think about it, we've seen it time and time again. Only earlier this week, of course, the doyen of Sky News, Kay Burley, bowed out after 36 years. Bowed out is a loose term. They didn't want to pay that money anymore. Nobody's watching the show and they can't afford it. Hence the reason she took a retirement, so she claims. Kay would have never have left that raft if it was the only raft in the boatyard, you get the picture. But now things are actually getting a little bit worse. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much. And as ever, thank you for sticking with me. It's just people, they can see you filming, talk really loudly when they get near the camera. Yes, the sort of people. No class, no style, you know what I'm saying? Not like you and I. I mean, I would just be quiet if I was going past seeing somebody filming, wouldn't you? I know, I like to share these things with you, chums. It's a little bit like somebody who doesn't want this shared. Now, remember this lady, right? The presidential hopeful, Kamala Harris. And it was interesting, wasn't it, with her? Because if you think about it, she could have become the very first female president of the United States. And that would have become historical, when you think it is a moment in history, whether you're interested in politics or not. But what was fascinating also was many people said it was a campaign that derailed herself because of the manic laughter, the way she couldn't stick to a plot. And then behind the scenes, lots of people agreed to trim the interviews to make sure that they had positive answers, the right look, that sort of stuff. One of them, allegedly, was none other than CBS News. And she sat down with them for a long chat on their 60 Minutes thing, right? And it was one of those things that was going to go, basically this was the winning interview. But things very quickly started to unravel. And this is where you find out exactly how the mainstream media works, because we saw this time and time again. Now, the difference, say, with Kamala and, say, President Trump is he says it as it is, whether you like it or not. I've been in a studio with him. You can't edit it. It's there. If he doesn't like you, it's very clear, right? Now, what's interesting here is that Kamala wasn't the best at being interviewed, and she will probably be the first to admit it. She'd been the VP, but had never really mastered it, right? Now, what was interesting was they had an agreement with CBS to make her look good, and then things turned nasty. Basically ratings, advertising, and the fact that they can't now get guests on their shows. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because they've released the unedited version, of which does not paint Miss Harris in the very best light. Apparently her team are now looking at legalities and the possibilities of why have they done that. And if you remember, CBS did this also by leaking out a similar thing with Harry and Meghan when they appeared on their Sunday morning programme. They were unhappy with the way that they were treated, so once again they decided to plunge the knife in. See how this works. Moving forward, this is truly what's happened. As I say, ratings for the mainstream media have plummeted. Everything from NBC, ABC, CBS, the ad revenue is down. They are desperate. And more importantly, now they've realized that they've offended a vast part of their viewership, and they need to pull it back. So this is them saying, please forgive us. Will you come back and watch us? This is how transparent we are. Now, after seeing this and hearing what I've just said, you're going to believe them? It's up to you. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.